back to it. It's KJ Carson on WEEI.
Yeah. Let that rock, Zach. Let that rock. Oh.
I'm going to give you what you're here for.
Yeah, I'll be good to your ear hole.
I've got the means to take you there.
A brother can do that.
I'm not here to kill you softly, but I promise to be here to your ear hole.
WEEI, good Sunday to you. KJ Carson, 617-779-7937. Text line 37937. Let's get straight to the phones. Matt and Walpole, thanks for the call. You're on the air.
What's going on? Yeah, I want to make a case as to why Liverpool really shouldn't be John Henry's number 2 priority. And it's because he's got a much better chance of being able to competitively spend at a higher level in MLB than he does in the Premier League. He can't spend like Sheikman Sauer for Manchester City. I don't think he can spend like Jim Ratcliffe for Manchester United. And I certainly know he can't spend like the UAE government can for Newcastle. I mean, you're looking at expiring contracts for like Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk. He can't afford this stuff. And I think that he's got a much better chance of being able to competitively spend at the MLB level and being able to get much more value out of the Red Sox than he can with Liverpool. And I mean, that's only the Premier League when you think about it. When you get into like world football and the Champions League stage, he can't spend like Real Madrid can or like Bayern can. He's got no chance. You know what I mean?
But if he gets to the UEFA's league, which they're not there this year, but they'll be there next year based on where they'll probably fall on the table. But I don't know, after they wet the bed today, they could drop to 5th, and that'd be disastrous. Would that not make them even more valuable for sale? And sometimes when you know you're putting an asset out there because he has announced that it is for sale, it's very important to get that thing sold, right? So I don't disagree with you that selling Liverpool isn't in his purvey. I still think it's very important that, hey, look, if you get this team moving and get more value to it, you can get more return because the world market are the ones that are buying these soccer clubs, not the American market.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I think it's going to be also a little difficult for him with Liverpool with Jurgen Klopp leaving. I mean, because that club really hasn't done anything without Jurgen Klopp at the helm. And I think him leaving.
Yeah, well,
that is true.
City is outspent and has outdone everybody in that. And keep in mind, in this domination time of Manchester City, which is my team, I'm going back, Carlos Tevez, Young, Balotelli. Lord. Okay, yeah, God bless you, but we win. Liverpool has been the runner-up a couple of years in there. So, yes, you're right. He probably doesn't want to overspend with these other world entities. Totally true. But I would say on the baseball side, as I just gave you the numbers, the teams that spent more than him, only 5 of them made it to the playoffs. 6 of them finished either last or second to last. Matt, thank you so much for the call. I don't know how competitive, just because the way baseball is right now, and the Dodgers are introducing kind of this World League type of attitude as well. Now, here's what may help the Red Sox spend down the road. If they are willing to start doing these type of deferment deals like they've done with Ohtani and with, who's the pitcher that didn't come? I forgot his name because he's not here. Yamamoto. If they're willing to get, because I think the Dodgers, by introducing the deferment game, then maybe that's something you'd say, hey, okay, well, we have a steady fan base. We will always have attendance. We will always be one of the higher money makers in terms of revenue in this league. Do we tempt ourselves and get into this deferment game where we can get stars on the field now and then determine where there are going to be some gap years where it's just like, okay, we're just going to kind of suffer as a couple of these stars, fade out. Maybe that's a conversation they have now. I think it's just something they weren't ready to jump into, and the Dodgers just surprised all of Major League Baseball while saying, we'll be willing to kick all this money down the road if it means we're paying Ohtani $2 million a year now. Is that something you consider? The fan base definitely would not understand it because they'd wonder, like, why are you paying all this money all the time? It's like, look, take him when you get it now. It's like getting a great quarterback who's a rookie, who's not being paid yet. Like, let him get paid later down the road. And if deteriorating, look, someone may pick up that contract. It may be advantageous at that time. I think that's probably how the Red Sox get back to competitive spending, is if they go the deferment route and they make that known. And I don't think you could do that until next year. All right, Super Bowl 58. So for those who are on the conspiracy theory tip, Zach, were you on it thinking that this was set up to be Baltimore and San Francisco because of the colors of the logo?
No, so I actually thought it was going to be Kansas City 49ers because I think the NFL really wants Taylor Swift to be at the Super Bowl.
Well, she'll be there. Now, here's the other part of that, and we'll get into some of the betting odds here. I've got an arachnid 8-leg parlay that could pay out $1 million on the Super Bowl. And I think it's it's not like, will Taylor Swift sneeze twice in the second quarter? There's no plus money value in there. But here's where I give the NFL a lot of credit. And I'd said this back in probably September or October, I can't remember what the months were, was that during the writer's strike on television, there were no women watching network television 18 to 49, none of them. I'm giving you some behind-the-weeds stuff. There were no new scripted shows showing new episodes. That's why you were seeing shows like, I forgot the name of it, Yellowstone shown on CBS. You're like, wait, they're showing season 1 of Yellowstone on CBS? That's like from 4 or 5 years ago. That's how bad the writer's strike situation was. So when Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce get involved together, they're like, hey, wait a minute. There's a plethora of 18 to 49 women who follow this woman religiously. This is what's crazy right now about this whole Taylor Swift thing. Taylor Swift has not been shown like 3 minutes a game. It's because the impact is so great, I think probably on average, just for me watching some of these games, it might total maybe under 90 seconds total screen time during a game that Taylor Swift has been shown. Under 90 seconds. But yet they were able to show that there is a correlation of about $330 million made somewhere from those 90 seconds per game. And it's not on every game because, look, if you really thought they wanted to really abuse the Taylor Swift thing, just have her cut a promo for all the NFL games that play anywhere. Damn, the Chiefs. Tennessee's playing Cleveland this week. Let's get that promo in there and roll. So I don't think there was just kind of this abuse or this inside job that I think people are conflating some of their personal beliefs into what's going on. This is just two people who are in love. I am a bit disappointed that Travis Kelce's haircut is now suddenly a style. Like, it's called a fade. It's been called a fade for almost probably as soon as Clippers became electric. It was called a fade. I want the Travis Kelce.
So someone actually timed out how much CBS showed Taylor Swift during the AFC Conference Championship.
And what was that number?
44 seconds total.
See, I'm double the time. I gave you a number that's twice as much. I said it probably at best a minute and a half, and it wasn't even 45 seconds. That's called impact. Right? Like when I do my shows, like you could probably count the words, and it's not a lot of words. It's all trying to get for the impact. Mary had a little lamb, impact. That's why when I get on people about like, I can't say Tony Romo's horrible. He is there for impact, folks. Admit that you don't like Tony Romo because he gets $18 million a year to do it. Either practice harder or become more entertaining. I would suggest both. Tony Romo's entertaining. Greg Olsen, hey, he's really good at what he does because he's done it in such a short time. He's not entertaining. Greg Olsen's not entertaining. That's why you can make that deal with Tom Brady. You say, you know what? People are tuning because it's Tom Brady, and if Tom Brady says something off the cuff, it would be like over hilarious because you wouldn't expect it. Why do you think Gronk is sitting up there? The McCourty twins have personality. Greg, good information, would hand in a great book report. Not entertaining.
Even Belichick was entertaining on his game day appearance. I think he would be pretty entertaining in that booth setting too. That's
where a lot of people don't understand the genius of Bill Belichick. The guy has a humorous side to him that when it comes out of him, it's going to be enjoyable. And you know what we say? I didn't know he was this entertaining. But no one's having a conversation saying, oh man, if we can just get into the brain of Belichick and have him mumble like he did. No, this is entertainment, folks. This is why I play the songs I play when I come in from commercials. These are like little mini statements. God bless one of my mentors. He's like the number 2 guy in like an opposing company. Like people would never think that I know these people, but this is every statement we make on the air is a marketing determination of who we are. So everything that you're saying that comes out of your mouth needs to be saying something about who kind of you are. I'm like a black Larry David. That's just kind of how I am. Greg Olsen, like who would you like? He's good. Bradshaw, personality. Gronk is up there, personality. Kirk Menefee designed to be the straight guy, right? Like, and I don't mean to say that when I say that. It's supposed to be he's the guy that just delivers the information in this industry. He's called the straight guy. There's nothing more to that. Personality. You got to be able to make something pop, stand. What? Have people just like, look what's happening. Zach, do you follow wrestling at all?
I do not.
Okay, no worries. But the big story that's come is one, that Vince McMahon is out the door. 2, The Rock is now on the board of this new company that's under the guise of TKO or whatever it's called. 3, The Rock now owns his name. And 4, The Rock is going to be the headliner against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And so many people are now complaining, trying to start a campaign to put boring-ass Cody Rhodes up there. Like, Cody should be embarrassed that he can't even get into the style of his daddy Dusty. Personality sells, baby. Cody's like, I'm here to finish my story. Bro, they're letting you know your story's kind of finished. And people don't realize, like, 500,000 dislikes on YouTube. You've already done The Rock's job. You've given him the heat. Bring heat. Romo brings heat. Belichick will bring humor. The McCourty twins, they bring levity and humor. Greg Olsen is cool. He's good at what he does. Personality. I mean, I'm sure he's, I mean, I watched those same games too. It's just kind of like, okay. Now, Romo saying something silly, making mistakes, that's the secret to the sauce, people, to this industry. How good do you sound when your mistakes are coming out of your mouth? That's the trick. Think of all the kids who were in your classroom that got A's all the time. Were they the first ones you invited to the party? Zach, did you get all A's in school?
Not all A's, but I did all right.
Yeah. So Zach knew when to party. That's the whole idea. So that's why when I hear people complain, we need more rock and roll at the Super Bowl. I'm so tired of these artists that women are dying to see. I was just on the national show for BetQL this morning on BetMGM game day. And myself and Jim Rodriguez, I've had him on the show. He's in Miami. First thing he said when we talked about the halftime show, his wife cannot wait to see Usher. My wife cannot wait to see Usher. See these things pop on the screen. I love Aerosmith as much as the next guy. But after hearing so many 4/4 chords up there, you're kind of like, all right, this would have been really cool, like in probably around the Pump days. Personality sells. Conflict sells. Perfect doesn't. Perfect doesn't. That's why I like Tony Romo. And I've probably seen the memes too. Oh man, there wasn't this much outrage when he was involved with Jessica Simpson. Many people who are saying that probably weren't even old enough to remember that there was. And it's part of the reason of, watch this, Tony Romo was considered for the job that he has now. He's been in that space where he can relate, or people can relate to him, that can care less whether someone's an eligible receiver or not. That's why Taylor Swift mattered, because you now have droves of women watching football games who weren't watching them before because Taylor is there. Do you think they care about whether to run, what pattern to run on 3rd and 7? Or do you think they care more about, like, that is so cool, she is there to support her guy, being in a booth just like everybody else with her friends, celebrating him at his football game? They can relate to it all the way back to high school when they dated a guy on the high school football team, supporting him there. Relatability. As for the game, was that enough of a soapbox? Because here, anybody who's listening, I've talked about Taylor Swift. I am not the biggest of Taylor Swift fans from things that I know from my music days, but I'm just trying to give it to you as it is. That's all. So here's what I like about the game lining up, and I think this is what's going to happen. I think you're going to have a high-scoring game, and that's going to be to the interest of the NFL and to the fans, right? Because in this social media world that we're in, if you had a 13-3 game again, where here in New England, we just thought it was a masterpiece. Oh, all those high-scoring games that the Patriots are playing in the playoffs leading up to that, and then just absolutely shut down what was supposed to be this absolute juggernaut on offense, and Mike McVay out there. That was beautiful. But to the general audience, that's boring. So now I think we're in kind of a general audience area where most of us here don't care. I mean, if there was an absolute tie and everybody just, declared the game over, nobody here in New England would be disappointed. But it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think for San Francisco and its fan base, I had this conversation with someone who works at our sister station in San Francisco earlier today, that because the Patriots have sucked up so much air, get ready to hear the 49ers try to scream just as loud as us Patriots fans have been screaming over the last 20 years, because they would have 6 championships. So they're ready for that screaming because, and I've lived other places, if you really understood how deep the hatred for the Patriots have been for over the last 20 years, live somewhere else, tell them you're a Patriots fan, and see their entire DNA change in front of you of why they can't stand the Patriots. I'm looking at them like, damn, it's just a football team that wins. I had to tell me, well, you do this and everything. I was just like, wait, because this is how I used to argue about Tom Brady in defense of him. So you mean to tell me if you've had a really good husband for 15 years, you don't appreciate he's not doing what he's supposed to do? Then they understood what I was saying. But there are teams who are ready to kind of stomp on the proverbial grave. And I don't think it's a grave, because I think if you look at what happened in Houston, can happen here with Gerard Mayo. You turn around the energy. I think that will happen. I'll get into that in a short while. But I think that's the case, right? Like San Francisco's ready to say we have 6 championships just like New England does. And of course, the Chiefs are going to try and really propel this newfound argument that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time. I would say, hey, look, y'all should slide Taylor Swift at least $1 million, because we haven't seen a damn thing from Jackson Mahomes. And I don't know if you saw what TMZ reported today. I won't put it out there, but just look it up. So she's provided a lot of distraction for some underbelly things that have been going on that would have been a major distraction and may not even have the Chiefs here because it would be that much of a distraction, especially with Jackson Mahomes is facing and what just like happened here in the last day or two with another Mahomes. So high-scoring game. Christian McCaffrey, I think, is going to be able to go off. I think Brock Purdy will be solid. I think Travis Kelce will face some challenges from that San Francisco defense. I think they're going to do everything they can to just make it a difficult day for him. Don't be surprised if there isn't a little bit of a late hit, chippiness. I don't mean to be injured, but just to kind of get into that psyche of saying, a lot of people are watching this game because of your girlfriend. I would pay to hear the boom mic of what's being said to Travis Kelce as he's running those routes. Is your girl here? Your girl see that? Because it's become part of the lexicon. But I don't want to see a low-scoring game. I don't want this to come down to a situation where it's like, oh, man, the defense has been super stellar. I'm like, great, I'm just watching a bunch of punting. Who wants to see a bunch of punting in the Super Bowl? Fast motion, game moves quick, get through the commercials. The commercials have sucked over the last 5 years for the most part. I mean, I can't think of 3 of them that have been memorable over the last couple of years. Maybe the one with the QR code. Remember that, Zach, that got stuck on the screen?
Oh, yeah, everyone thought their TVs were broken.
Right. It was Tubi. That was a Tubi ad. There you go. So that's the one I pull out, right, of all these different ads. So, again, in the conversation of the ads, in the conversation of Usher performing at halftime, and just call it what it is. A lot of women are going to be running to that screen. Don't matter where they grew up. They're going to be watching. They might just go, or tap their foot a little faster. That's kind of the hint. You want to have a good game to go along with it, for sure. I mean, you would want a good competitive game to go along with it. So here, I'll tell you what. We'll get to break here, and then when we come back, I'll do Scared Money Don't Make None. I've got an 8-leg parlay that pays out $1 million. You got to put a sizable bet on it, but it's less than $10,000. So be careful. But we'll do that next. Plus, we'll finish up the show here on WEEI. 617-779-7937. Text line 37937. It's KJ. Thank you so much for hanging out.